Hey, Bravehearts. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, because we're all over the world, and all we want to do is touch the hearts of not millions, but billions. And that is our goal as a Braveheart Nation. So today I wanted to chime in because it's the end of the month. And the reality is, isn't it kind of funny how October, it's breast cancer month, and then October 31st is the biggest sugar hit of the year? And guess what? Whether you want to believe it or not, the leading cause of all cancers, okay, is first emotional, then on a physical level, it's sugar. That's right. Let's all say it out loud. It's sugar. And guess what? We can go to any corner store and we can go to get all we want. We can go to any supermarket. We can go to any drive-through. I mean, they put it into everything. They ram it down your throats, okay? And guess what? Why do you think there's so many celebrations? I mean, here it is. Isn't that something? So it all starts off, okay, with the big kickoff of Halloween, big sugar night of the year, okay, for children and for adults too, because they end up eating all the crap they buy that they're going to give everyone else, okay? And understand this, sugar is, guess what? Are you ready for this? Sugar is more addictive than cocaine. And the reality is you've got to get this. We're all addicted to it. I'm addicted to it. I have to be on guard with myself all the time, okay? Meaning that I've got to look at every label, because they can say natural and it's not natural. They're just naturally poisoning you. And understand the tobacco industry owns most or almost all of the food corporations now in the United States and Canada. Isn't that great? These are the same guys that said, breathe really deep when you smoke so you can exercise those lungs. Let me say something right now. I don't mean to be controversial, and I know I end up being that way, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I want to try to get you to think, okay, not throw rotten tomatoes at me, but that's impossible, because there's no matter if I try to speak what my truth is, I'm going to piss somebody off. I get it, okay? I get it. So let's just do it, okay? So here's the deal. So breast cancer month, okay? So understand something. Why do they emphasize so much, okay, for a whole month, breast cancer? Well, let me tell you something. What other thing did they do? LGBT Pride Day. I'm not trying to take that away from you people, okay, that are really involved in that. But understand, anything that they want to sell, they're going to have it long, they're going to have it strong, and they're going to drive it deep into us. And understand something, whether you believe this or not. If nobody talked about breast cancer, there would be less breast cancer. And whether you believe this or not, guess what, everybody? Image creates thought. Did you get that? Image creates thought. Every thought that you ever had was created, okay, by an image. And understand something. Thoughts are like frequencies. You put them out there. And every thought has an emotion. And understand, when I say breast cancer, does that make you feel really great, really cool? Does that make you feel really empowered? Okay, and how do you like it? How they shove it down your throat. Understand something right now. And this is the deal. The more you talk about something, the more it happens. So understand, why don't you take a look in your life, okay? The more you feed something, the bigger it gets. Remember something, thoughts are things. Thoughts are alive. Beliefs are alive. The more you feed them, the bigger they get. So that means if it was a positive belief, okay, you're going to see great things happen. And now, if it's a negative belief, you're not going to see great things happen. And that's how it is for everyone, whether anybody wants to believe it or not. And this is where I'm going to get in trouble, but that's okay. Like I said, I'm usually in trouble anyways, and I can confirm that. And the reality is that we have created, whether it's on a subconscious or on a conscious platform in our brain, we have created every disease. Disease means you're not at ease. Disease means you're out of harmony. Disease means that, guess what? You are not balanced emotionally or physically. So you better get it, okay? Hey, wait a minute. You better watch it, Dr. Wolf. No, you better watch it. You better watch you with all the love in your heart, because guess what? You're running beliefs that you were given from 0 to 7, and they are taking you down. And no, cancer is not genetic. Oh my God, there's a shocker. Believe whatever you need to believe. You know what? Did you hear? I went to the doctor, and you know what? I'm one out of 100 million people with this disease. I am so special. You know, you better stop looking at things that make you special, and they better be really special that make you more powerful. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Cancer is not genetic; it's epigenetic, and there are no studies to show that it's epigenetic. Did you know that? So why don't you challenge me on that one? Now, the next thing is they did what was called the Genome Project. And in the Genome Project, they spent millions of dollars of taxpayers' money to find out that cancer is not genetic, it's epigenetic. And understand something. Why do you think that they increased their actual spending and marketing with breast cancer, and they actually increased it by 10 times? And guess what? Do you know what it did? It actually made breast cancer go up 10 times. Breast cancer is the second leading cause of cancer with women, except skin cancer is the leading cause. Well, we can understand why. Look at all the chemicals that they put on their skin, and then look at all the things they put inside, because your skin actually is the mirror of your large intestine. And I won't get into that today, but guess what I will do? I will talk about your skin tomorrow and all the things you can do for your skin. And understand something. I have a gentleman, if you didn't see it, it said skin cancer reversed. And he had a skin cancer the size of a nickel on the side of his cheek. You can go and watch it. That was only 3 weeks ago. And it took how long did it take? 3 months. And he got rid of the skin cancer. And all he was using was a couple of external products, a couple of our internal products, and clapping with our clapper. And he went in and he never did anything else, and the skin cancer is gone. So remember something. Don't get upset if my views don't match yours. If you are totally medical, I get it. Go for it. I'm not trying to sell you to come to me. I'm not trying to sell you on my stuff. All I want you to do is use that logical mind that God gave you, that 1 and 1 are actually 2, not 11. Okay? So let's just talk about this. The things like Mother's Day, I think Mother's Day should be a month. What do you think? Do you think that we should emphasize and make things that are really negative longer so we can think about them stronger and go deeper with them so that we can actually create them? I mean, whatever you feed gets bigger. I already told you that. And I think you should realize that by now. Okay? So let's talk about this, okay? Let's go back 100 and almost 15 years. 115 years ago, okay, we're going to talk about what was called the Flexner Report. The Flexner Report actually came out because of the Rockefellers. Now, I know that lots of you are probably on top of this. If you go into my library at docofdetoxlibrary.com or click on library in docofdetox.com, what you're going to find in there is you're going to find some pretty interesting things. First of all, I hope you know that my library is the biggest self-care, self-love library, do-it-yourself library. Turn yourself from a patient into a practitioner. Those of you that deserve to be healed. I mean, there's a lot of people that just don't deserve to be healed because they have sinner's syndrome, or they fail too often, or people haven't forgiven them. But you better watch out for your beliefs. Okay, let's get back to our story. The Flexner Report is that the Rockefellers actually gave $100 million, okay, to the AMA that was in 1910 going bankrupt. And believe it or not, back in 1910, okay, do you know what were doctors called? They were called quacks. Now, because they have much more money and they're really great at advertising, I'm the quack now. So I'm Dr. Quack. Nice to meet you. So the reality is they were first called quacks, but now we're called the quacks. And the reality, they can get away with that because 110 years ago, nobody even goes back and does any research. Most people don't, or do any homework. And so back then they spent $100 million and they closed down 115 colleges, universities, naturopathic schools until there was none left. And the only schools that could even be open as a university are those that would sell Carnegie and Rockefeller's drugs. Now we know that drugs are made from petroleum, and we know that Rockefellers have a lot of money. So anyways, so now what we have is we have a healthcare system that's based on drugs, yes or no? Chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery, yes or no? Okay, so the reality is back then we had everybody their lawns were their gardens, okay? And today, well, everybody just has lawns and they just go to the supermarket where you know what they buy. So here we go. The Flexner Report was back in 1910, and by 1920, all these colleges, universities were shut down, okay? Now, here's one for you. Okay, the American Cancer Society. Who can answer this question? Come on. Who can answer this question? Who started the American Cancer Society? Rockefellers. The Rockefellers started the American Cancer Society. Now, understand something. Did they do it because they cared for us? Did it because they loved us? Because it was a real concern? Understand, back then, there was hardly any cancer. It wasn't until 1986 that that was the first time a tumor was operated on in London, England. And then in America, the first time was 1988. And guess what? You know what they said? They told doctors to come from over 100 miles away. You got to come. You got to watch this operation. You may never see this again, this tumor. We'll never see this again. We'll never see it again. Well, wait a minute here. Just know this, that in 1913, okay, that's when the American Cancer Society started. That's when the Rockefellers started it. And guess what? They needed to. They needed to, because they knew that the more you talk about things, the more you create things. Got it? Guess what? I told you they 10 times their marketing, and breast cancer now is the second leading cause of cancer. First one is skin cancer with women, okay? And it's not going to go down. And I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain my quack theory, okay? And then you can listen to their theory that breast cancer is genetic, it's hormonal, and I'm going to tell you that this is my opinion. I'm allowed to have my opinion, okay? I'm allowed, believe it or not, I'm allowed to have my opinion. No, you're not. You have to have the opinion of the masses. You have to have them, or guess what? You're a quack. Okay, here we go. The quack will tell you what he thinks. Now, right off the bat, let's just put it this way. Back in December 23rd, 1971, Nixon declared war on cancer. And do you know why they did that? Well, cancer wasn't as bad. I mean, gosh, why don't you take a look? Today we've got turbo cancer. We have turbo cancer because of the last 3 years of dramatizing and traumatizing everybody. And understand, whether you believe it or not, a lot of people believe that this is the reason why we have turbo. And you're right. That is the reason why we have turbo cancer. But you have to understand something. Okay? Fear, anxiety is like pouring gasoline on the fire. You have to get that. And when I said fire too, I'm going to have people come on here and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. But my belief, how's that? Am I allowed to say that? My belief is that cancer is inflammation. And there's stage 1 inflammation, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Okay? Now, does it feel like you can work with one better than the other? I mean, right now, cancer is what? Death sentence. So every word, okay, has an emotion or a feeling tied to it. What if you only focused on, where's your focus? Focused on things that empowered you, made you feel like a healer, made you feel like a miracle, made you feel enlightened, made you feel energetic and healthy. I'm already there. Just, you know what? The best mantra you'll do is, thank you for the healing God. Thank you for the healing source. Thank you for healing me. Okay? Now, so December 23rd, 1971. December 23rd, 1971, Nixon declared war on cancer. Now, hold on a second here. Hold on a second. So why don't we run for it? Let's jump for it. Let's dance for it. Let's cut our hair for it. But better still, why are we falling for it? Okay? I mean, this whole pink thing, oh, isn't that sweet? That's so nice. And understand something, just so you know, everybody, okay? Do you know how many people that cancer employs? Do you actually think that any corporation wants to get rid of it? Do you actually, okay, first of all, I got to tell you, That is the one thing that's got me in trouble in my life, okay? And, you know, whenever I say things, my words get twisted, okay? I had a whole TV station in Canada try to destroy my whole business, my whole reputation, okay? And they're still working at it today, okay? And the reality is this, is that they're not going to be able to do it. Sure, they'll be able to fool the people that don't know me or want to believe that there's a guy out there that's murdering people and things of that nature. But here's the reality. You can't do that when you're talking about all natural products and empowering people. Let me tell you something. Cancer is big business. It is the biggest business. And that's why we kind of just really want to not be poking the bear. But this is probably poking the bear a little bit. But the reality is cancer stands for what? Well, first of all, we corrupt a person mentally. And then guess what? That causes conflict. And then that conflict causes contamination on an emotional and physical level. So that's what C stands for in cancer. If I took the C away from cancer, what am I left with? ANSER, the answer. You're the answer. And I said a long time ago, I said, yeah, we can cure cancer. And when I said it, I didn't mean we can cure cancer. Anybody can cure their cancer, okay? And the reality is this, you've got to look at the emotional part of it first before anything else. And when I say anybody can, well, if you're going to push yourself off the cliff, you can't come back on the cliff. So not anybody, not when you've taken yourself so far. Here's the deal. Okay. So like I said, you can run for it. You can jump for it. We can do all the things to raise money. Why don't you try to find out where all the money goes? Okay. And I always tell my practitioners, because we teach practitioners all over the world how to do Wolf Non-Surgical, how to do a perfect day, how to do a perfect day with every autoimmune disease. And it's not that complicated. Let me tell you something right now. Health is not that complicated. They make it sound complicated. Okay. I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible for everyone. Okay. So we know that breast cancer is the second leading cancer. Okay, we know that 250,000 cases are actually of breast cancer every year in the United States. We also know that 2,100 men will pass away from breast cancer on average per year. Okay, we know that 42,000 women die, okay, from breast cancer. I meant 2,100 men will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year. 42,000, women will die of breast cancer this year. That's the average. 500 men will die of breast cancer. Now, understand this, okay? If you look it up, there are two main causes for breast cancer. First of all, the first one, are you ready for this? Being a woman. That's what they said, being a woman. The second one is getting older. Well, I'm not going to disagree that being a woman and getting older could increase your chances. Sure, that could do it. And family history. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't believe it. If you're talking about family history in the way of genetics, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And understand something. Wouldn't that be a dirty trick from our Creator? No. You can change genetics, okay, by what you think, drink, and eat, okay, how you live your life. And we already know that. That's already proven, okay? So when they say that in your history, well, I'm going to tell you something, okay? All right? Breast cancer doesn't run in the family, okay? The only thing that runs in the family is people's feet, okay? What does run in the family is, belief systems. Yes or no? Belief systems. Well, of course. You know, the five main people that had anything to do with your life from 0 to 7, those prominent dominant beliefs they had are now in your head. Did you get that? Okay, so you need to understand. And guess what? You don't think you eat like your parents. You don't think you eat like your grandparents. But things have really changed, like escalated, because there's so much poison in the air, the water, the food. We won't even talk about that part. What about the 5G? What about the 6G? What about the blue light poisoning? But the reality is this, believe it or not, you can stay perfectly healthy in this world. So the one thing that'll make you really sick is worrying, okay, and stressing out about what you're going to get sick over or die over, okay? And understand something, and we know it in the Bible and many great teachings, that the more you think about something, the more powerful it becomes. Don't feed what you don't want to get bigger than you, because it'll eat you up. And that would be cancer. So if you were focused on just creating the perfect day, thinking right, drinking right, eating right, I mean, seriously, everything is vibration. Cancer's turned on by a frequency, turned off by a frequency. Okay? Okay. Now, so let's talk about this. Okay? Okay, here we go. All right. Now, I will tell you that if I was really worried, okay, that I'm going to get sick somehow, I'm probably going to, okay? So understand, the emotional overrides the physical. The psychological creates the biological, okay? All right? Just know this, that my father died of leukemia. My mother passed away due to tongue cancer and lung cancer. So when I was younger, okay, and they passed away when I was, let me think here, 31, 32. So that was pretty young. And so, up until a few years prior to that, until I really understood things more on an emotional and physical level, I thought, well, here it is. Yeah, I'm either going to get tongue cancer because I smoked when I was younger, or I'm going to get lung cancer, or I'm going to get leukemia. Okay, these are all these weaknesses in my family, and I'm going to get them. I'll just put this out there, okay, because it's the truth. Just stick with me as long as you're on this planet and find out if I'm even sick. You're not going to hear that I'm ever sick in bed. You're not going to ever hear that I have a disease, because why would it be a disease when I'm totally at ease with myself and I love myself and care for myself? And I know that which created the universe just loves me anyways, so I don't fall for all that other stuff. But, think about it. Think about this. People that end up having cancer once, then twice, then 3 times. Well, all they're doing is they didn't erase and replace the beliefs and programs they had. So the same thing that they got the cancer the first time, they triggered that program, that belief the second time and third time. I'm a 3-time cancer survivor. Don't be so proud of that, okay? It's like saying, I've been to 3 wars and I'm still alive. Really? Why would you even go to war? And the reality is you shouldn't go to war with yourself. You should be going to unconditional love with yourself and learning how to care for yourself. Now, I'm going to tell you what I believe, and then you can do whatever you want with this. But the reality is that the breasts are made out of fat cells, right? Aren't they? Okay. So if I take in a lot of toxins and chemicals and I back up waste in my body and I reabsorb toxins, we know that the body will make fat cells to store toxins. Yes. Yes or no? Yes or no? Well, what do you think they store? They store toxins. That's what they do. The body will make fat cells to actually store the inflammation, the infection, the heavy metals, okay? And until what? Until you wake up. Seriously, that's what it's all about. So we already know that the more fatter people are, and I'm not trying to put them down, the more fatter people are, the more toxins they're bringing in on an emotional and physical level, and mainly sugar and flour products and dairy products. And, the story keeps going. So I'm telling you that your breasts are made out of fat cells and they're like a magnet. So you don't think that, your body, when it's exhausted or it can't make enough fat cells, that it doesn't say, hey, there's 2 storage tanks up here. Let me tell you something. They're like magnets to toxins and inflammation. Now, let's talk about my domino effect that I believe. And I can prove this because I've worked with thousands of women that have had stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4 inflammation. And this is the way we deal with it. So you can say that I'm wrong by looking at it like this, but I'm going to look at it the way I want to look at it. Nobody can stop me from looking at things the way I believe that are logical. I'm not going to call anything cancer when it has such a bad reputation? It scares the living crap out of people. Just, go back 15 years ago. You had a tumor, which was actual growth that was mutating and growing usually. And then you had a fibroid that was benign. Okay. And now they call everything a tumor. So don't tell me that it's not about fear mongering. Don't tell me. And you know what? Guess what? If medical doctors are so intelligent, then how can they get them to change the lingo and scare the living crap out of people? Because guess what? I believe that most medical doctors that would like to talk differently won't, because guess what? They've got a chokehold on them. Okay, we'll leave that alone. Okay, so here it goes. Okay, so what is one of the major things that are going on today? Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. Diabetes is going to be the leading cause of illness and even premature death. Okay, so diabetes is basically too many fat cells, being overweight, and being diabetic. Seeing that 85 to 90% of the population, depending where you go in America, okay, are pre-diabetic. We've got a problem here, right? And also seeing that we're running around 86% to 92% of being overweight. And overweight actually, okay, was actually when you were 10 pounds, you were overweight, okay? Now, you were obese, You were obese when you were 10 pounds, and that was like about 40 years ago, and 50 years ago. And now, you can be 40 pounds overweight. Now we're going to call you obese. But the reality is that's not going to stick out, and you're not going to feel obese because you know what? Birds of a feather. Holy crap. Seriously, and I do mean holy crap. We'll get to that in a minute. But the reality is the majority of the population is overweight. And guess what? Really? You don't think so? 60% of the population is overweight. Okay? And no, wait, wrong. 86% of the population to 90% of the population is overweight. Okay? And 60% of the population is obese. Okay? So we know that 1 out of every 4 children, okay, have actually inflamed liver. Young children, okay? We know that 20% of teenagers, okay, have inflamed livers, okay? We know that 50% of teenagers are pre-diabetic. Wow. It's just amazing, isn't it? So understand something. Now we're into what we would call turbo cancer, and a lot of people that call it that are blaming this, okay? But what they need to blame is actually the fear mongering. What they learned was, and they learned this about 20 years ago, is that marketing pays. So the more that you create fear and the more you talk about something, the worse it gets. Or if it's a beautiful thing, the more you talk about a beautiful thing, the more beautiful your life becomes. This is all just basic. You can take it or not take it. But let me tell you something. You can program the majority of the population that believe that cancer is a death sentence, that chemo is the only way to go, which is basically where'd that come from? Well, it came from mustard gas in the beginning. Go do your research. Or you could teach women that, they need to get an x-ray, okay, and where they're going to just smash the breast and then they're going to radiate it, okay? So the same thing that might cause a problem, bruising, or even damage to the cells, we're going to do it to them, and we're going to tell them to come as often as they possibly can, okay? When they could go for thermography, or they could just be checking their breasts. What about checking your breasts every time you go to a shower? You go in and have a shower. What about clapping or skin brushing your breasts? If you were to skin brush your breasts, okay, all right, every 3 days, and if you were to clap your breasts for 5 minutes each breast, nothing would ever grow in there because it's all about circulation. If you got perfect circulation, you're not going to have this problem, and I'm going to prove it to you. And they can go on all they want, and I don't care. You can believe it. Everybody else can believe it, that it's a hormonal issue. But understand something. We have some of the worst hormonal issues coming to us because they go to everyone else before they come to the quack. And the reality is that we'll put them on black diamond and black gold, which is a humic fulvic. We have the only pure humic fulvic on the planet, we use no chemicals. And why is it that all these women balance out and they all have different hormonal problems? Seriously? Okay, so understand something. God is great. Nature's amazing, okay? And the reality is we're all drifting away from there. We're all looking for the silver bullet cure, okay? When it's actually in the perfect day, from the moment you rise till you close your eyes. Do you know how to love and care for yourself? Let me just say this. Why don't you just go for a walk? Please go for a walk. And tell me what part of the body people are in the worst shape. Well, it's their abdomen, isn't it? It's their waistline, because their waistline is full of waste. And guess what? You can believe this or not believe this, but people are rotting out. Just so you know this. Cancer is where the body is rotting out. I'm going to prove that to you. Okay, so here's the deal. I believe that 95% or maybe more on a physical level, because we can't ever forget the emotional, and we cannot. But on a physical level, it all comes from the large intestine. The large intestine is the holy grail of the human body. And why don't you go take a look around and see how people's intestines are blowing up and they look like they've eaten a beach ball. Well, that's because the actual, not in the small intestine, but in the large intestine, they have their own private manure pile rotting out. And because of antibiotics, which are in the fish, if it's not wild, it's in the chicken, it's in the meat, it's in the pork, it's in the dairy, such as the milk, the yogurt, it's in the cheese. And guess what? So if you're eating animal products and they're not organic or free range, then you're taking antibiotics in every day. And you may not know this, but I'm going to tell you, one of the biggest contributors to this situation and every other situation that's called the big C, okay, is caused because of that. It's called leaky gut. But it's not leaky gut, it's leaky large intestine. Did you hear what I just said? Oh, and I went to the doctor and he said I got leaky gut. Well, your doctor should be talking to you properly. You got leaky large intestine. Your large intestine's now like a screen door in a submarine, because antibiotics, even if you did the one round, if you don't know how to restore your good bacteria and turn the fungus back into yeast and to eliminate the other funguses that are actually creating holes in you. So understand, let's just put it this way. All very low vibrational drugs, okay, like antibiotics, very low vibrational, it vibrates under zero. What happens when you take it is you swallow it. Oh, isn't that cool? So you took an antibiotic for an ear infection or an eye infection or a nose infection. You're going to swallow that and let it go all the way down 30 feet, go into your large intestine and blow up your bacteria, your good bacteria and your bad bacteria. And you're going to tell me it's going to work on your ears, your eyes, and your nose? Are you really kidding me? Why aren't you doing nebulizing of infinite iodine if you've got a sinus infection or a sinus headache? Why aren't you putting infinite iodine in your ear to get rid of the infection, the inflammation, or Bright Eyes Fulvic, nebulizing that or putting that in your ear or in your eyes? Or seriously, you know what? Everybody wants this bloody silver bullet thing. Okay, so now we took the antibiotics, they're going to go into us. And when they get down to the large intestine, yes, they're probably going to kill a lot of bad bacteria. Okay, and yes, you know what? Yes, we should take antibiotics if we're in a life-threatening situation and our life is threatened. Because if it isn't, we will be in a life-threatening situation for the rest of our life. And tell me I'm wrong. Why don't you tell me I'm wrong? Tell me that almost everybody that gets on drugs isn't trying to get off of them, whether they're street drugs or prescription drugs. And I'm not trying to run it down, okay, because for some people, they need drugs because they're never going to love and care for themselves or get a perfect day consult and learn how to eat, drink, and think properly. So we should keep drugs on the market because those people are going to need to take anti-inflammatories and anti-pain pills and antidepressants. Okay, well, not antidepressants, because the only side effect of that is you know what the side effect is. But the reality is that if you're not going to take massive personal action and let yourself off the hook and totally unconditionally love yourself, then you're going to need drugs. Okay? If you put yourself in judgment jail and guilt jail, okay, whatever you fear the most, you are going to have. That's it. That's the rule, and they know it. And they know that they can just keep on, hey, listen, what do we want people to croak from? Well, just pump it out, baby. Pump it out. Pump out the fear, pump out the stress, and it's going to happen. And you can say, you don't know what you're talking about, but I do. And I don't really care if you're upset with me and you think I don't know who I am or what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter, because I'm not here for anybody except for people that say, you know what? I don't want you as my doctor either, Dr. Wolf. I want to be my own doctor. I want to get up in the morning and open up my eyes and make decisions on an emotional and physical, nutritional level. And I want to be my own boss. I'm not going to follow you or give you money for the rest of my life. Good. That's what I want to hear. Why do you think my library is free? In my library, you can go watch The Emotional Chemistry of Cancer, Disease, and Healing, and then tell me I'm wrong, will you? Go ahead and tell me I'm wrong about this. You can go watch How to Become Number One at the Art of Number Two, and you can go watch The Holy Grail, Your Large Intestine, and The Highway to Health, which is your digestive tract. And I just taught you more than you got learned in health all the way through and even into university, because you're not taught how to love and respect yourself or the truth about real healing or the body. Okay, let me keep going. So here's the deal. How often do you feel bloated? How often do you feel sluggish? How often do you have low back pain? How often do you have inflammation? How often do you have swelling? And do you feel stiff like you're aging? Well, all of this is because you have leaky gut. Don't believe me? Why don't you go talk to any practitioner you want? Okay, leaky gut, okay, which is autoimmune disease where the body's attacking itself on a physical level, but we always attack ourselves on an emotional level first. Those of you that are out there that feel like you're a sinner and that you're going to hell, okay, you're in big trouble, okay? Those of you that feel that you're a failure and you judge yourself all the time for something in your past, you've put yourself in hell. And the reality is that everything has a frequency attached to it. So take a look at your day and look at how you play with yourself. Can you let yourself off the hook like this? Let me tell you something. You're always going to fall down, but fall forward. You know what? I fail at everything I start, but I'm not going to give up on it because I know that repetition's the key. Who taught me that? Well, the Cancer Association. They taught me that because they repeat things long enough and strong enough, and now they've got what? Now they've got a real business plan. So understand something. It's called repetition and emotion. So what you repeat the most, and what is your emotion like? Do you have the emotion of love and caring for yourself, or that you don't deserve to live, or you're a bad person? You know what? You better start thinking about this, and you better take it in. And I'm telling you that right now. Okay, so here we go. So anyways, you know that large intestine? Well, it's only 5 to 7 feet of that 30 feet of intestine, but it's the most important part of you. That's where your bacteria, your bacteria talk to your brain 9 times, where your brain only talks once back to your body. That's right. Your bacteria create all the information. Hey, wait a minute. That can't be true. God, we just spent the last 3 years trying to kill all our bacteria. I'm going to have to relook at that because I don't know. I might have this wrong. See, 85% of your immune system is your bacteria. And when your bacteria are healthy, you're healthy. When they're happy, you're happy. And when your bacteria are bad bacteria, they send bad messages to your brain. But it's not just that. Just remember something, okay? All right, those swollen feet, those achy joints. Oh, that hip surgery that you got to have, that's because you've been pooping in your pelvis so much. You filled up your whole pelvic girdle full of infection and inflammation, and it spread out to your hips. You think I'm wrong? Anybody want to challenge me? 469-861-8884. And I don't care if it's a surgeon, a medical doctor, or anyone. I'm telling you right now, hip surgeries did not exist until new and improved and processed foods became the main meal of the day. So you better understand that. Everybody's rotting out and they're pooping in their pelvis because the antibiotics they took vibrate below zero, and they turn on a fungus that wasn't supposed to come alive until we were leaving the planet. So we turn the fungus on, raging, and it drills holes through our large intestine. We poop into our bloodstream. We poop into our pelvis, and all that infection backs up your liver, messes up your kidneys, and we fill up from the bottom up. Now understand something. You give me any woman that has breast problems, you're going to find out that she has ovarian problems. She probably has cysts on her ovaries. If she doesn't, she has endometriosis, which is, okay, for one thing, the cysts on the ovaries. Well, that's just bad bacteria, okay, and dead cells and pus in a sac. Would you rather have that or ovarian cancer? So that's why you have that sac of pus, which is easy to get rid of, okay? All this stuff you can turn around. Are you willing to take massive personal action? You get a perfect day consult from us and he goes, now you're going to go, oh, I knew it. He was going to come in with the sales pitch. I charge $150. You get my 400-page manual, perfect day manual in a PDF. You get lifetime phone calling support from the practitioner that actually did the consult on you, and I'm your backup. Do you understand? Where are you going to get this? It's called learning a new language called self-love, self-care, and it's called real health, okay? So now you're pooping in your pelvis. And guess what? Do you know what symptoms you get? Well, I already told you, my opinion, 95 to 98% of all the symptoms, and understand something, there are no symptoms. There are messages from your body that you're infected, and that's causing inflammation, which is pulling calcium from your bones to cause calcification, which is inflaming. If I threw a burger on the burner and I left it there, it'd turn into beef jerky, and you're inflaming your connective tissues from your tendons, your ligaments, to your muscles, to your organs. And now they're beef jerky because you inflamed them. Inflammation, inflame. Okay, so understand that. So pooping in the pelvis is the main cause. And I'm telling you right now, it's because guess what? We'll almost eat anything. Most people only have 4 inches of consciousness. And then the other 30 feet is just hell. You know what? You should always feel satisfied after a meal, not full. You should never be bloated or tired after a meal because we know that you missed food combined, or you ate too fast, or you were stressed out, or you were too dehydrated, because men should be drinking 4 to 5 quarts of water a day and women 3 to 4 quarts. Put that in your pipe. And it should be structured water. So look at our structured water units. They cost $300. They last forever. They never break down. You get a 90-day money-back guarantee. Guys, I know I'm selling some product or selling something to you right now, but the reality is this. I'm telling you really important things to put the fire out, because inflammation, okay, we get infected first emotionally, physically. I already talked about the large intestine. And then guess what? So we get infected first, then we get inflammation, okay? And then it goes right throughout the body. And if you don't believe me, do your homework. Now, here's the deal. I already told you the ovaries get inflamed first. Okay, I wasn't doing the elite sign, so stop it. Somebody's going to come on here and go, oh my God, is he part of the elite? Okay. Anyways, so the ovaries, okay, they get inflamed and infected first, okay? And then you're going to start getting symptoms at your breast. Did you ever go to the fair and you took the hammer and you hit down and then the ding, the bell goes ding? Well, the bell goes ding. That's because there's problems in your pelvis. In 95% of the women that we have helped to teach the perfect day to and teach them vaginal infusion, the ultimate coffee enema, the perfect day diet and things of this nature, pelvic squats and whatever the case may be. You know what? 95% of them, they all have bowel problems. They all have problems here before they were up here. Now understand this. You got 8 pints of blood. You got 12 quarts of lymph. Okay, you know how people get a swollen lymph node here? Well, how about swollen lymph nodes under here? How about this? When you are pooping in your pelvis and you're backing up the waste in your large intestine, remember that your lymph system dumps into your large intestine. If your large intestine's already in trouble, or you don't exercise, or you don't drink enough water, or you don't eat a whole plant-based diet enough, then remember that the lymph with armpits, neck, okay, groin, back of knees, ankles, okay, those are the main areas. When you don't drink enough, when you don't eat enough plant-based foods, but mainly you got to drink a lot of water, everyone, okay? Now, and you don't get any exercise, your lymph slows down, and your lymph already moves like molasses. That's why you want a skin brush. You know, I don't care where the trouble is in your body, but You know what I'm going to do tomorrow? I'm going to show how to do the crab stretch and to work on the neck. But I'm also going to incorporate the breast work and what I would do if I had a breast problem, if I had a neck problem, if I had upper back problem. So we'll just do this whole area and we'll put them together and we'll just call it upper back and breast something. I'll come up with something. So anyways, now remember this. Remember what I told you? That if you started to get really infected and inflamed, if you got really stressed out and you're dumping adrenaline and cortisol and histamines into your body, and your body can't make enough fat cells fast enough, so it's like, are we going to have organ failure, or can we make enough fat cells? Oh, wait a minute, guys, look upstairs. There's 2 tanks right there. Tanks a lot. So understand something. Those toxins, okay, will be sent to the breast. Now, here's the deal. If you were to clap, when you go into the shower, if you were to clap under your armpit, and I mean it, clap under your armpit for just even 1 to 3 minutes, and no clothes on, right? Aggressively, don't be scared, okay? And right away, we're going to get the circulation going. Clapping is one of the most amazing things. So tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll come on and I'll show you what I would do if I was a woman and I wanted to look after my breasts. But the reality is this. I will tell you right now that if you don't look after the large intestine, you're going to be in large trouble. Now, when you go to, if you want to, you can go and watch on my website, Doc of Detox. Go watch the emotional chemistry of cancer, disease, and healing. And when you do that, when you go there, I want you to watch, and you're going to see that the emotional is the first trigger. And you're going to find out why you get a breast problem in the right breast or the left breast, okay? Let me tell you, that was the biggest research that was ever done on cancer, okay? Trust me, they don't want this out anywhere, okay? And that's in my library, okay? But understand this, if you want to actually not have a breast problem, then you need to understand that you need to work from the bottom up, okay? And you need to work from the inside out. Now, the reality is that doesn't mean that we're not going to do things outwardly as well, right? Like salt glows, skin brushing, clapping. I'll go through what I would do if I had a set of breasts and I love them, okay? And I'll do that tomorrow, okay? But the reality is here is that you can't just work on your breasts. You've got to work on your core. Your core, women, your pelvis is the holy grail of everything, okay? The vaginal canal, you better respect that. And if you respected that, and you respected your large intestine, we would have never been in trouble with these. Never, ever. So any woman out there that really wants to bring the thunder down, go into my do-it-yourself guide or go into the 6-day advanced water fasting guide in my library and take a look at vaginal infusions and take a look at the ultimate coffee enema and then also take a look at colon cleansing. I'm going to tell you right now, if you want these to not be in pain, if you want these not to swell up, if you want these not to have scar tissue throughout them, if you want these, breasts, to be just beautiful and toned and not just flop down, because that's what happens, they become toxic and that's why they don't have tone anymore. But, what was I going to say here? You've got to look after your pelvis. And like I said, take a look at vaginal infusions, take a look at the ultimate coffee enema, and take a look at colon cleansing. And then also, if there was a Wolf non-surgical therapist around your area, even if you had I've got a breast, it's got a tumor. The tumor's open, there's blood and pus coming out. We're not going to work on the tumor. We're going to gently work around the area with Wolf non-surgical, and we're going to loosen up, okay? We're going to loosen up all your sternum. We're going to make sure that we pull the valve down from your stomach because Most of the time, believe it or not, when women have breast problems, they also have heartburn, okay, heartburn, or they have a lot of pressure up here from acid, okay? So we're gonna go in and do Wolf Non-Surgical is a technique using the elbow. You can go and read about that and watch the masterclass called Reverse the Irreversible, where I get into this in my library, okay? Now, where was I? Losing a little bit of thought here. Okay, so we will do non-surgical and we'll open up the sternum. We'll come around, come around the top of the clavicle, okay? We'll come down and we'll open up right here. You know what? Did you ever see this, women? Feel right here. And if you wore a bra for years, you'll feel like an island of beef jerky right here. So we got to go in and we've got to take this apart right here. Believe it or not, that bra moving up and down actually caused a ton of scar tissue, which actually blocks the flow of lymph in here. So you got to get rid of that. Then we'll come under the breast. We'll do non-surgical here. Then we'll lightly do non-surgical around the area. And then we'll teach you about what to do if you had like an open tumor. But you always, if you work on one breast, you've got to work on the other one. Whether you believe this or not, you have to. You have to. Just like when we work on somebody with a hip problem, if it was their left hip, we'll do the right hip as well, because we know that it's been compensating. But when it comes to the breast, it's emotional compensation. I guarantee you when we go into the other breast, you're going to find scar tissue calcification, crystallization. And if we did Wolf Non-Surgical on a woman's breast, believe it or not, we'll measure it, and after we're done, the breast will be standing up at least 1 inch higher. I mean, the nipple will be 1 inch higher because it'll have more tone because of the blood flow. And this is somebody a woman who's never had surgery before. This is what happens from the bra. The bra actually creates it. And then take a look at the women that actually have a bra that has a wire here, a wire bra, okay? So the wire bra underneath, right here, underneath the breast, okay? If you go under there and you feel with your elbow, we can show you that you're going to have anywhere from a half an inch, about a quarter to a half an inch thick. It can even be thicker, it can be an inch, okay, especially in bigger breasted women. And what you're going to have is from that wire, you're going to have the exact shape of the wire, and it's going to be this long, and it's going to be anywhere from here to that wide, and it's all scar tissue. What, you think that doesn't cut off circulation to the breast? So understand, if you're worried about something, get your sternum open with non-surgical, open up underneath here where the wire was, or even just the bra strap here and here is going to cause scar tissue. So we're going to lovingly take all that apart, okay? We're going to show you how to skin brush, how to do salt glow, how to do the clapping, how to do massage draining on your breasts, how to clap underneath here. But are you worth it? Are you worth it? Here's the problem. A lot of women, okay, have been programmed to be such caretakers that even looking after themselves, okay, that looking after themselves is a big issue. It's selfish. And if you're not going to be selfish enough to know how to heal yourself and stay there, okay, because your family and your friends and everybody around the world would love to hear that you've healed yourself, because guess what? When somebody gets any type of cancer in the family, the whole family just loses it. Yes or no? That's because nobody knows anything about health. They don't know about the large intestine, that's where all autoimmune diseases starts from, because of all the pinholes in there from the antibiotics and then all the other sugars and flours and dairy and everything else coming in. So, so families don't know what to do. Why do you think families go, no, go get the x-ray, take chemo, take. It worked. They've got us in a panic mode. I'm not telling you not to go get your x-ray. I'm not telling you not to do chemo. I'm not telling you not to do radiation. But I will tell you this much. I hope you know that unless you're going to do a deep detox after you do the chemo sits in you. And it is the most toxic actual drug on planet Earth. I hope you get that. So if you decide to do it, let's at least cleanse it out so it doesn't sit in there like a predator, okay? That would be really cool. Really cool. So let's put it this way. I'm a natural health practitioner. That's what I am. So if you want to learn how to cleanse properly and stay that way, I mean, the reality is this, you know, you can talk to anybody you want, but people that have been with us for 9 months to a year, they're not doing ultimate coffee enemas, vaginal infusions all the time. They're not doing perfect day diets all the time. Because guess what? You know what? Most of you don't realize it, but you dug a 20-foot hole, and then somebody gives you a 5-foot ladder, and you think because you climb it 4 times, you're out. No, the reality is listen, you're not getting off the hook here. Okay, you're going to actually have to love and care for yourself and put yourself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else. So help me God, or you'll be shipping out. And that's the reality. I'm going to tell you something. People say, oh my God, it's so hard to be healthy. No, it's not. We can teach how to do it. And you know, nobody can come on to me because nobody charges $150 lifetime support and then gives them the most powerful healing manual for free. Okay, so they understand something. We're going to give 10 times more, 100 times more than we ever take. Okay, and that's the reality, because guess what? It's all about the giving. You know, did you ever notice that? Whenever you were serving, whenever you were giving, okay, that's when you felt the best, didn't you? You're not when you got the gift, but when you became the gift and you gave the gift. That's where it's got to be. And most people don't understand it. I want to create a Braveheart Nation where we all find our passion and purpose, and we're just gifting each other all the time. You know, this whole thing is just a big setup. But, you know, I'm not going to try to talk you out of anything. I'm trying to talk you into something. I'm not against the medical system. I'm for you becoming your own practitioner, your own healer. And once you're there, you've brainwashed yourself and created new programs that you don't have to be thinking consciously. You could be, you know, not even thinking at all, but because your prominent, dominant programs are based on total self-love and total self-care. Well, it's just that simple. You know, somebody says to me, do you want to drink that? No. Do you want to eat that? No. Okay, I'm not going to compromise myself for love anymore because I filled up my own heart and I don't need this contaminated love or borrow love from you to get me through the day. And that's it. So whether you want to believe this or not, it's called unconditional love for yourself. And once you've mastered that, you'll have it for the world. Wouldn't it be great not to be at war with yourself or war with anyone else? I'm going to fight this cancer. I'm going to war with my body. Oh, really? That's cool. I'm not saying that you won't win, but you might get done in on the way. Okay? How about just falling in love with your body and bringing the vibration up so high that cancer gets turned off? Because everything is a frequency. And understand something. You know what? The environment, it decides who's going to live there. People say, well, cancer is caused because of fungus. No, it's caused because of bad bacteria. No, it's caused because of viruses. And I'm going to tell you, it's caused because of parasites. And I'm going to tell you, it's not caused because of any of them. It's caused because of frequencies. Everything has a frequency. The way you talk, the way you treat yourself. Everything you eat has a vibration. And how much light is in there? How much light is in a donut? How much light is in a fresh organic apple? Everything is about the light. Who do you hang around with? You know, if you've got people in your family that are just totally miserable about their lives, why are you doing it? Why are you visiting them all the time? Why are you talking? You know that after a phone call of 20 minutes, it takes you 2 days to get over it. The reality is they're just going to call to someone else and complain about their life. Listen, if you're not going to want to protect your frequency, your vibration, let me tell you something. It's harder to go up than it is to go down. And I'm telling you, don't let anybody pull you down. And you know what? I don't care. You know, the day that I decided I don't really care what people think. I'm going to eat right, drink right, and I'm going to love myself. And guess what? I'm going to tell you something. You know what? I'm still here. And guess what? I'm shining. And guess what? I've got energy. You don't see me getting sick. Why don't you check out all these medical doctors and find out how well their health is doing? Okay, there's got to be something to this. All right? And if my way doesn't turn you on, find someone that teaches similar things that I do and go to them. For God's sakes. And I said, God's sakes. You know, God loves you unconditionally. Why can't you do it? God loves you unconditionally. Why can't you do it? You know, the Bible says that, and then the next minute it says something else. But I'm just going to go with the other one because the other one gives me a headache. And I'm not going to do that anymore because I don't believe it. Because I don't believe it. That which created the whole universe is unconditional love, and I know it, and I'm going to leave it at that. And everybody thinks they know what it looks like, what it tastes like, what it smells like, and everybody believes that they know what they're doing, and their way is the right way. I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to unconditionally love myself from the moment I rise until I close my eyes at night, and I'm going to teach that to everybody that is willing and wanting to do that. Then I'm going to do that. So that's how dangerous I am. And listen to me, how dangerous are you to yourself? Do you love yourself unconditionally? Okay, what are the things that you are guilty of? Okay, get rid of it. I want to tell you something before I leave here. And this is what I put together, and it's called a Braveheart Heroes contract. And so what I want you to do when you get off of here, and don't BS me, okay? Give me a dysfunctional belief system. You don't have the time or the energy. Why don't you go do a contract of what it would look like, okay, if you loved and honored, respected, and were willing to protect yourself, okay, against everything else and everyone else. Why don't you go make a contract right now? What would it look like? What would it sound like? Okay. And listen to me, stop thinking your way through life. Start feeling your way through, okay, with your heart, okay? Because your heart knows everything, okay? So the next time that somebody says something and it irritates you, just put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath and just relax. And if you have to do 3 of them, they'll think you're insane, but that's okay. Most people think I'm insane and I'm having a great time, okay? I'm insanely happy, at least not insanely miserable, okay? All right. So anyways, we've been here all day working, and now we're going to go for a really beautiful walk along the lake, and then I'm going to go for a swim, okay? I don't know, what are you going to do for you tonight, okay? Listen to me. You're the lover that you've been looking for. And you know what? You've been programmed that if you even think this, you're going to hell. If you even follow through on this and you made yourself first and foremost, most of you, okay, really believe you're going to get in trouble. And understand something. That's how these psychos have won the day. Because they made you pay. Now go play with yourself and love yourself. So here we go. I am love. I am healed. I am Braveheart. Today and every day, from the moment that I rise until I gently close my eyes, I will love, honor, respect, protect, and forgive myself totally before anyone else or anything else. So help me God, because I can, I'm healed. I am Braveheart. Have a really beautiful day, everyone. And just know I'll be on tomorrow with the makers of my Beyond Ormus, which is the highest electrical minerals on the planet. And I'll be proving that for you. And we'll also be talking about our Beyond Ormus magnesium spray, okay, which is the most saturated essential minerals and magnesium to calm you down and to help to heal. So he'll be on tomorrow. And we are going to be in Mexico. It'll be, Lori, can you give me a sec? Please? So we will be in Mexico. And the first, okay, whole training session, we're going to be doing Whole Life Coach, Wolf Non-Surgical, the Pelvic Course, and the Braveheart Circle will be starting January the 8th with the Whole Life Coach certification at the Cala Del Mar, okay? It's a 4-diamond resort. I mean, it's just mind-boggling beautiful. You don't have to stay there. It's pretty expensive to stay there, but we can use their pools. We can utilize their whole place. They've given us all kinds of discounts, but that's where we're going to be teaching all of our course, and it's just beyond beautiful. You can check it out at braveheartnation.com or bhnuniversity.com. And come down and see us for the adventure of a lifetime, okay? All right? And I'll be back tomorrow, and I will go through, because I was doing and showing how to get rid of stress and strain for the upper body. So I'm going to show how to do the plate tomorrow, how to use the Pure Wave magnet to open up your occiput, I'm also going to be showing the crab stretch, and then I will actually talk about in more detail what I would do if I was a woman, okay? And I probably won't get it all right, but I'll do my best, okay? All right? And just know this, women, check out our pelvic course. It's called Women's Pelvic Restoration and Disease Prevention, and it's only a 3-day course. And fix that holy grail up, okay? That would be your pelvis, because that is your root chakra, and that is the area that you need to fix up. You cannot just work on this area, okay? Remember, we fill up from the bottom up, from the inside out, okay? All right? Have a beautiful day. God bless everyone.